Hey everyone, Marsh from Consequence here. I am going to go over Gallywix. Now, this is actually my POV, which I don't usually record or stream, so I'm just going to do it since I know what I did. But I'm going to talk to the fight, and we are going to go through things step by step. Now, one thing to note is Gallywix is not as hard as Muggsy, is not as hard as One Arm Bandit. It is still harder than people think it is. I think people are like, oh my god, it's such the easy boss. It's not free, but it's not as hard as the last two. And P1 is very kind of hard. It's a weird fight where P1 you do most of your prog in, and then P2 and 3 it just dies. So, let's get started. Now, the first thing to note is comp. Unironically, you can take anything you want to kill this boss. You just need like a handful of range to do a few things. I'd say Ranger is slightly favored on this fight in general, just from some positioning stuff, and we'll go over that. But you can make anything work.
Astraz.
I didn't.
Now,
I didn't know. It just had sound on there. So first thing we do here is the boss starts on Skull. Now you hit this boss. If you're the first person it hits, it is going to target you and kill you if you're not a tank. Basically. So we're going to lust here, and then we're going to go into quadrants. So with these quadrants, we have this image. And again, these rate plans are going to be in the description below. So these quadrants, you can see that we have an even spread of players in each one. And it's going to rotate. The way this works is the boss is going to start assigning players a beam. The beam is going to do more damage to you the longer the line gets. And also, if other players are in your beam, they're going to take additional damage. And what you're going to see here is I'm playing close to the boss, and personally I'm just playing as close to this back beam as possible. And you can see the other people in my group are doing this. Now what can happen, as you see here, is if this beam touches you, you're going to get stunned, instantly gets a cocoon, and they're just going to have to end the phase in the other quadrant. We also lust here because this ramps. This cast, we also let off go for a few seconds. Probably unnecessary, but if you've seen some guilds have like 1% wipes, which are a thing, you might be able to do 1%. Give you a little more time to avoid a potential situation like that. So next thing is we're going to go over all these overlaps. Now, this one is kind of weird. We have our rogue assigned the insta kick here, the static zap. But what needs to happen? Tank thing goes over here. What needs to happen here is Technician needs to die ASAP for this first set. We are just nuking the Technician with passive cleave. And you can see here there's going to be blaze lines, just like Fire Act, and then there's going to be a frontal bait. So the blaze lines get out, and the frontal bait goes here. Any player that doesn't have a blaze line or is not a tank can be affected by the frontal. And the idea is to step out of the frontal into a safe zone. You can see here that they're going to step out. Even this player is not in a terrible spot because all you have to do is step out of this frontal, and you can see most players step out in AFK. Now, these bombs on the ground basically do no damage. This is where the fight gets like, why was it designed this way? These do like 2 or 3 mil damage. Like this player could have stood still and just lived and taken almost no damage. So that is a thing. And you're going to first get your first Giga Bomb. Now, you can see here that this is going to leave circles, and the player is going to grab the bomb, they are going to charge it, and they are going to deposit it on the timer. And then there's going to be soaks. These soaks, you need minimum 3 players in each. And one thing to note is they need to explode before you move out. Once they explode, you move. But suck out the bomb. So we talked about this. Nuke technician, very important here. A lot of guilds are, like, I can see struggling with that. Same thing with blaze lines. Give players in exit out. We had some wipes to like blaze lines being like here and just knocking players or like here or something. And this is how our soaks look. Let's talk about the dunk, actually, because it doesn't look like there's a slide for the dunk. So, uh, the way the dunk works is you pick up the ball, the bomb, and you run into static. Once you get enough stacks, you go dunk it. Very simple. The first one is the easiest one. Um, so you saw him grab, pick him up. I think he sets an altar in his soak, dunks altars. So mages are very good at that. And the soak positions are like this: melee group 1, melee group 2, but we have a druid in here, which is fine, and then range 1, range 2. This group has one rogue, and then we have a shadow priest who's going to turn into a flex, and then a shaman and a priest, and this is just 2 mistweavers and a rogue in the middle. Only healers can get targeted by the red circle unless like 6 conditions are met, basically being that um, everyone gets a blaze line that can potentially get, or like basically I think it's like all healers get a blaze line, can trigger one random DPS to get this circle. Um, so just keep that in mind, which is really, really rare. So this is our first configuration. This will slightly change throughout the phase, so there's complications to phase 1. Now, the next part here, we're just going to move for suppression. I'm yelling at the range, don't cheat ahead because it makes a hellscape. And for the melee, don't crowd this with fire puddles. Leave the fire puddles behind you, and now you go in. There's a kick order, and there is going to be enrages here. Now you can see for the first set, they die so quickly it almost doesn't matter. But both their hunters are assigned to soothe one of these wrench ads, and that just doesn't let the tank take as much damage. And then we get second soaks, and we are leaving this bomb on the ground. So I do want to talk about the tanks thing. Warrior tank is busted on this fight. We tried DK for like 20 pulls, and then our tank's like, I'd rather play my alt warrior, and it was very easy. So keep that in mind. Notice here, let's look at the configuration. Yep, it's always going to be in this S formation, or the C formation, whatever you want to call it. And the soaks are going to be the exact same as the first one, no changes. Notice how the ads have their enrage taken off. We get the soaks, and this is like the first like hard-ish thing of the fight. So what I'm doing here is these bombs are going to go off, and you see bait frontal. All right. Now, once my soak goes off, early in prog, I would just disengage over, but here I was void elfing, so I have my void elf right here. I'm just going to step in. You got to bait this frontal ASAP. If I get a blaze line, I'm going to get out. And this blaze line is 1000% illegal. So I knew this was going to happen. And this one is not much better. These two are absolutely horrendous. Now, we just gamed it and we progged it enough to know like we can stand on this sliver and live because all we're doing is stepping out. But this is not enough room for guilds to get consistency. I mean, this was killing us. Things like this was killing us consistently like 10 pulls ago. This player can literally stand here. This player can stand here, and everything is fine because this line will just go through here, so it doesn't matter. But we game it, and the second player is going to pick up their bomb. They're going to charge it, and then they are going to cancel the Giga Coil. So you can see here, we did this, and we are going to go on the next set. I do want to pull up our logs. Give me 1 second to do. I'll do that at the end. So, Giga Coil 2 is over. This was a hunter, I believe. That's what I wanted to check, and I was going to explain why, but we'll do that at the end. You are going to get these soaks again. You are in the C location, but notice how there is a different person back here. So, actually, I'm just going to do the logs now. Give me 1 second. Put this back over. I want to do a detail because P1 is actually the only hard phase. So let's break this down. So first, what we're going to look at here. Let me think about this. I got to remember what it's called. Debuff, auto locking. This is the order we did. All right. So it goes Mage, Hunter, DH, Mage, Warrior. The tank likes to do the last one, and there's going to be a rescue associated with it, and I'll point it out. So the tank's going to jump up, and they're going to get rescued back. First one we saw with the altar. Second one is very easy. We just saw that. Third one has to be done super fast. So having a DH is really, really good to do it. Mage can also do it. And the fourth one, I'd say if you had a mage that had to do any soak, it would be the fourth one. It is very hard. Um, so if you have one mage, you put them four. And then I'd say like really mobile class goes three. Almost anyone can do two. And um, anyone can do one if you have the right setup. So if we come in here, I'm just looking at the fight timer, 2:10. Hopefully this loads. So what you're going to see here is you have our hunter dunking, right? And the hunter is going to come back. Oh, so this is the wrong set. And we are going to get into our soaks. And we're going to be good. So this is the second set. So I was thinking ahead. But I did want to show that. And now notice these were our soak positions, and you can see these are the people stacking together. Group 1, Group 2, and our Shadow Priest ideally is filling the weaker group. Doesn't have to be totally efficient, because if you stack people in the middle, they should have the minimum amount every single time. Alright, so that's this run. And then we are going to get suppression. Again, we don't want to crowd the platform. And what I'm doing here personally is I'm just hitting the boss because I know this technician doesn't need to die fast. And I might see these going, and I don't want my pets to just run over. But I do know I need to get a Soothe here, and it's this Lumbering Rage cast, and you can see that once I see it, I'm shooting my Trank shot, and I'm taking it out. And this is the Echo strat, but there's the Liquid strat. The Liquid strat might be easy to do sales and stuff on, but the Echo strat is easier, I think, if you want to kill the fastest. So that's what we go for. And you can see here what's happening is we're going to bait the bombs here. So that's the tank thing, right? And now bombs are coming. We baited the bombs over here. We're going to get blazes. You can see the bombs on the ground. The blazes are away from the group doing the frontal, but they are close to their soak, ideally, if they're slow. If they're really fast, they're going to be able to get their soaks quickly. This is by far the hardest part of the fight, right here. So what we do is you see a gateway to number 3, and number 4 is fast classes. So what I'm going to do here, I see this, I gate insta. I don't even think. See, gate, step in. All right, every single pull I did that. Gate, step in. I'm in my spot. Boom, boom, boom. If I get blaze, I try to stand near it and then walk in. So let's take a look in the replay. So we're going to come over here. Oop, whoa. My bad. We're going to come over here. Oh, I guess it's part of this, like the replay. It's so weird. They come out, right? We're getting soothes. We're baiting over here. This is the tank. All right. Tank explodes. We all move away from the bombs. You can see people with blazes. They are standing near their spot. Now it goes off. Gate. Step in. I think this might have been a void elf, but you can gate to the back ones. You can step in either or. Boom, boom, boom. Evangelism up this ramp, and you're good. Now, what did you notice? There's a DH over here. So what's happening? We get that frontal. The DH picks up the orb from the technician and does that when we do the soaks. Let's look at the video. I gate. What do I see in here? Bomb. He's picking it up. Up, 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 and go. See this? Grabs it and goes. So that's why DHs are really good, because can quickly take a soak if they want, like the big soak, and then they can go in. So you can look at it in the replay again. You can see here the soaks are coming out. And he's going to grab it and go. Now, what else do you notice in here? The group soaks are on the canisters. This is just for healing and strictly for healing, group healing. So you can also have them down here. It's completely fine. I've seen guilds do that. But we have one of the circles here and one of the circles here. And then these are the two solos. Now, after that, we are going to group into a barrier. And for wrench guys are going to spawn, as well as a technician. Two technicians, actually. One technician, and you need kick orders on the technicians, by the way. You can see it here. One technician gets pulled out. You can see that happening. The other one has a kick order. We have 4 individual soothes for each of these, because there needs to be an AoE soothe by your evoker later. 4 individual soothes. I have Skull. I soothe it. I go back on the boss. And we get another soak. This is our normal positioning. And now the boss is going to do a suppression. I didn't talk about this, but this suppression, you need to see this safe every single time during suppression. Range are going to stay on the boss, and melee you're going to wither this down to about 20%. This is a little lower than I would like, but it's okay. And now we're going to set up for the second hardest part of the fight for one player. So we are going to get the bombs, and you can see that this player had already picked up the bomb, and he's walking around with it. Blaze lines. That player is going to now charge this up and go dunk. For everyone else, you're just baiting a frontal and getting in a soak. But this player is off on a secret mission. You maybe see it in the mini map, but we can go over it. So let's see what's happening in the replay. We looked at the hardest set in the fight. He's drying the technician out. We're killing everything else. This technician's for later. Right? Now the mage is going to pick up one of the bombs, and we're going to move the boss over here for suppression. We're going to bait the frontal. These are blaze lines. Frontal is being baited. People are stepping out. And this mage has the bomb, and they are going on a mission to dunk over here while we're soaking. So let's see what's actually happening. Circle, circle, normal group, normal group, normal group, one different person. Before this mage was in the soak, but now that Flex Shadow Priest has come out to the last soak here for this set, because this mage is all the way over here. The mage is going to jump up, alter back. I recommend they practice this on their own, because the timing is really tight and it's a little harder than you think. So they're dunking when those soaks go off, and that's how you handle it. So one player goes on a secret mission, does it. Everyone else steps in the spirit link. And now we are going to the next phase. You can see there's also a bomb, and this is being picked up by our tank. The warrior tank now has the bomb. So let's talk about the rest of the fight now, which is way easier. So that's the first phase, and again, we have a raid plan that will describe all of this for you. Now let's talk about P2. So first thing to note in P2 is you're going to have some ads spawn. Boss goes to middle, adds 1 assigned kick per sentry, right? So let's talk about it. They have a long cast, and if you kick it once, it will do an unkickable cast. So you want to milk the cast as long as possible, then kick it. You do not instantly kick, so be really careful for each of these. You also want these smaller ads to have a CC order, and you want to wrop them together. So this is our CC order here, but any CC order works. All right, so let's take a look in the video. Also note that the range are on outside here. So the way this is working is you're going to get a fire line here and then a fire line here. These do a lot of damage, like the lightning on the ground. Once you see an opening, you can just step through, and vice versa. Very easy. See opening, step through. And what you're seeing here is literally it. So I'm going to talk about the melee thing in a second. So these ads get blown up with a CC order, and now once this gets kicked, it's going to do a non-interruptible cast. If that goes off, it basically one-shots someone. We're just killing them off because the fight's a joke at this point, and we don't even want to risk it, and we're just doing this dance. Now for the melee, I think we did the echo strat for this, but the melee have this line that they have to deal with that is going to come around like this, and depending on what strat you do, you either can AFK at the side, or you have to just step out once the fire goes away and loop back around. Both extremely easy. If you look at the VODs, you'll see 50-50. But you either step out or you AFK on the side. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, AFK on the side is easier. Sure, but it makes it makes the dunking in the first phase, that mage dunk, a little weirder. So it's kind of a trade-off of like, what do you want to make weirder or not? At the end of the day, it's basically a wash. We just chose to make the mage's job slightly easier. So now the warrior still has the bomb, as you can see here. And we are going to get into P2. Now let's take a look at that. Very simple. This is how we assign ourselves. All right. So melee, evenly spread. And the idea here is to have people taking the group soaks in groups of 5. Sometimes we had a backup 6 person in there. If someone died, you need to have a flex. We usually had our balancer do it. But you don't have to overthink this phase at all. These are your VIPs. These are anyone who takes a lot of damage. Now, basically all that's going to happen here is it's going to alternate frontals and mechanics, and that's literally it. You can see there's some smaller things. I don't want to show like 2 images at once, so it's kind of cutting off. I'll make it smaller here. But you can see here that the third frontal in P2 requires personals and immunities. I'll go over that. And we have those assigned: spell ward, disperse, paints up, cocoons. We have cloak. We have things assigned over here to make it easier to heal by taking less damage. But that's really it. And you can see, we'll go over this at 7:10. So let's take a look at the phase. So I go to my spot here, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of thinking this is a P, like the way I kind of handle this is P3 style. So I could stand over here, but then I'd be LOSing every healer but one. And in this situation, I'm already LOSing 2 of my healers. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to cheat a little into the middle, but I'm going to take this frontal, and you can see I'm kind of cheating towards the middle. Sometimes I get in range of the disc priest, sometimes I don't. But these out people are in danger because they have the least people around them, and we're weaving in and out. These are your VIPs. They take nothing, and it's the same concept the other side. Now this suppression, the way we deal with it is, you can see it says bait, fire, far. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm a BM hunter. If I just get it, I react to it and stay away from everyone. But the melee have a system, and the middle range have a system as well. So the middle range like to group up and move together. The melee like to be on the sides and run up this thing. Run up the edge. So you can see the melee are running up the edge here. And the middle range are kind of running together, and they all kind of group up. And I'm literally AFK because I didn't get it. And I'm watching it all happen. Now you can hit these circles. These circles, the call should just be as ethical as possible. They don't actually do a lot of damage, but don't mess with your VIPs. These blaze lines, don't mess with your VIPs. These bombs don't really do a lot of damage unless like 6 are stacked. No need to hit them. And then the second cone is coming on the other side. Boom. That side gets healed. And bait fire far. So we're running away again. Or see how the range are stacking up a little here. But I get it this time, and I'm just kind of like doing my own little thing because it doesn't matter. Melee are up the side. VIPs do their little dance in the middle. And notice how the tank still has the Giga Bomb. We'll talk about that when the fight comes. Same thing, spread, ethical, get rid of the soak. This is the immune set, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of bombs. Granted, I didn't really need it this set, but I am reducing the damage. But if you're in the weeds over here, you might need it because there are bombs. And you can see I just come back a little towards here, and I have the Disc Priest in range of me now, and that's kind of my goal. And I had the Mist Weaver in range of me too. But I do move back over once I get the Healing Absorb off, just in case I want to give the VIPs room. Doesn't really matter though. Same thing, bait fire far. I just kind of do my own thing. This guy goes the other way, melee up the side. And it just repeats. It's very easy. It is extremely easy. Other group gets the cone. The other group gets easier cones because they don't get mechanic overlaps. They do have a barrier here, so you can see that they're trying to stack like in the barrier the roost of damage, but not overlapping each other. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So you can see here, actually there's 6. I think an extra person took it there, which is fine. I think our balanced dude took it on that set to reduce the damage. You can do that, as I said. If you need to reduce damage, just throw someone in there. You get the circles, and you can see like we're rotting out, but it's only because we've been here like 4 times. Like that's how easy this phase is. You can actually just straight up kill it so unbelievably fast. It's crazy. Bait the frontal. And now Giga Blast is going out. Now I do want to talk about the frontal. So, with the frontal is going to rotate each side. And the general rule is try to bait it to the side, but don't worry about it. The frontal leaves these balls on the ground. These balls one-shot you if you get hit. And, if you have a DR, you can get dispelled and live. It's virtually a one-shot. So we have our Paladin running in and cleaning them up every once in a while. So you'll probably see here these players are dodging it. But the Paladin will probably come in here and scoop them up in a second. So let's talk about the dunk. As you can see in the raid plan, it was a DK originally. Remember, we moved the warrior. But they're going to dunk in the last area to stop the Giga Coil. So we can hop 3 minutes of heroic mechanics. And we can take a look. Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. We can take a look at the dunk. So you can see here that the warrior has charged his orb and the evoker stepped over. The warrior is going to jump, dunk it. Oh, of course. But in the VOD, it's going to get rescued back. So they're going to rescue them back. And that's how you do the last one. Very easy. But again, something you might want to practice once or twice. Again here, we're going to ROP just like we did the first set. The adds closer together. This is the first time we've ever been here. We have CCs assigned, but we have so much gear and they're so undertuned, it just instantly dies. We have some shockers. Again, once you cast it the first time, it is going to repeat the cast. Knowing that the second one got hit here early, I'm just hitting that one, knowing that when this gets interrupted, we'll have more time. Kill the other one, same dance, in and out, in and out. The melee are going to do their little beam walk. The beam's going to come through. They're going to step up. They're going to walk around it. Or AFK, depending on your strategy. And now, it's literally the same thing. except less room, which is arguably easier, low key, for most players because you're you're kind of forced together, so you get more healing. So you're actually being forced to kind of play better. But these are our VIPs. Our melee are equally spread. We're just going to be flipping cones with these here. Just be as ethical as possible. Open space for VIPs, open space, open space. If you're not a VIP and get hit, it's really not the end of the world. It just kind of puts an annoying dot on you. Get the blaze lines. This might be somewhat lethal when this many are stacked up here, but again, it's so easy. You just step out, right group goes. You can see the balance should stepped out of that one. That's a fiver. And now we get the frontal. We just sidestep. Try to bait off the side, like I said. You can have an immunity, pick these up if you want, but the fight's almost over. Suppression, we step away. Just protect VIPs at all costs. There's our paladin cleaning up now. Very simple. This, just, I'm off to the side here. Half of mine's off the platform. VIPs are completely safe. Rockets. Cone Soak 3 is going to go over there near the bombs. Oh, sorry, over here. This is where the second immunities would be, right here. So you can see immunes. And then you get suppression one more time, and then the enrage. But the enrage, like low-key, barely affects you. Now, this is a bug. Don't get shocked. Like, we were absolutely shocked when this happened. But if someone has the healing absorb and you end the fight, it just kills everyone, except for one person. I don't know. Weird bug. But that is Gallywix. Very easy in the last few phases. Now, I do want to point out a few things here. Like I said before, these are going to be your VIPs. There we go. I can lower my thing now. These are going to be the VIPs. I'm going to be dead honest with you. Mages and your best players. That's it. Mages can't die. And then best players, and then tank. Granted, when I mean best players, I mean best players playing a class that can do it. You'll see most groups having a demon hunter do it, and having a hunter do it as the second priority. But even a super sick, I don't know, unholy DK, they can't die either, who is just never going to die, you can pop off. You can take your demon hunter off and put your DK on there, no problem. Actually, you can't do that because of mobility. I lied. Yeah, you could. You could have them do the second one. You could. So the second one's very flexible, but the third one should be done by a fast class, either a mage or a demon hunter. Fourth one definitely have to be done by a mage. First one, if you change your soaks, anyone can do it, and the second one is very easy. But we had a good group doing this. I think they wiped us once ever. So very easy. Now, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but low key, I think that's it for Gallywix. I mean, you can see here that this is our Giga Coil. This is the transition, which is the same thing. And these are our spreads, which is the same thing but more concise. And this is just like an idea of how we want to deal with suppression, but like you can kind of see like, okay, yeah, they're stacking in theory, melee going up the sides, but at the end of the day, like low key, as long as the melee going up the sides, it doesn't really matter. You can see that, but this is hypothetically the best thing you can do. So hopefully Gallywix guide was helpful to you. I'm going to have raid plans listed below. Don't underestimate this boss in P1. You can underestimate in P2. Just have positionings and a general idea what you want to do. But P1, do not underestimate. Really make sure you have enough info and detail so you don't pull the boss 120 times for no reason. So other than that, that's all I got. Hopefully this is helpful. And I guess it's the last boss of the expansion. I might put out some middle, or not expansion, of the tier. I might put out a few videos in between kind of talking about some raid lead slash GM stuff, but Other than that, best of luck on your prog. If you need me, you can always send me a message and I'll try to get back to you. I'm out. Peace.